Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just give it a few more seconds here, and then we'll be ready to roll. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here this afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Kendra Hancock and Mr. Justin Malloy, and they are going to talk about it is a team effort for academic success, collaborating between athletic staff and faculty for student athlete advisement. And just a reminder that if you need closed captioning, you can use the tools at the bottom of your screen to activate that. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Hancock and Mr. Malloy.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to be a part of the LSU Student Support Summit. Thank you to the organizers for allowing us to present. We are located at Fayetteville State University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We have about 7,000 students overall, and we're going to be talking about the student athletes in particular, and we have about 210 student athletes. As she said, I'm Dr. Kendra Hancock.
And I am Justin Malloy.
So without further ado, let's dive in. So a little bit of brief background about me. I'm an assistant professor and program coordinator of our sport and fitness management program here at Fayetteville State University. Prior to me arriving here, I was at Campbell University in academic support for athletics for 11 years. So you all are in it's my world and I love it. And I got to Fayetteville State in August of 2023, and we have about 200 majors. Our major was new when I arrived, and so we have grown tremendously over the last few years, and it's been fantastic.
Yes, and about me, as I said earlier, I'm Justin Malloy. I'm the academic athletic coordinator here at Fayetteville State University. I've been here for a year. Prior to me being here, I was at Methodist University for a year, and I was the student success coach that also worked with athletes there. Here we have about 210 athletes. Also, I'm a professor in UNIV, University Studies freshman seminar class as well. And I also coordinate what we call our summer bridge program, Bronco Boost.
So Fayetteville State University is a Division II school and a part of the CIAA conference. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. As I said, I arrived in August of 2023, and I noticed that there was a little bit of a gap and a need for academic support for the athletes. So I started talking to some of the athletic director and senior associate staff, and I was like, are we going to get someone hired in athletics? And they're like, we're working on it, we promise. But as you all know, one of the main roles of a faculty advisor is to help guide and direct a student, whether it's a student athlete or a student, on career planning, choosing the right course, making sure that all the course catalog substitutions and everything in, and keeping them on track for graduation. The primary role is career focused.
Yes, and so, with me being a coordinator here, it's my job to make sure that I'm ensuring our athletes, there are a lot of different circumstances that come up. They need that guideline. They need somebody to reach out, somebody to be the middle person between the advisor and them, the connection to put them together. So that's what I do here. I'm like the middle person, that bridge between the student athlete and the advisor. There's times where where the student athlete cannot get up with the advisor, and I step in and have to, walk them through how to set appointments, how to go see the advisor. We also are under what we call One Stop. Our One Stop is an umbrella where everything happens in one place, and so that's where I get my job title from as the academic athletic coordinator.
And we all know the great demands that student athletes have at any division or level. And it's even crazier now, or seems to be in today's world, with all of the many things that they have to balance and time manage. So it's very important to create good partners across campus and keep that communication line flowing for student athletes' success. So having that athletics academic support background, it was very important for me to be engaged with the athletic department very early on, and to make sure that the student athletes were going to have the support that they needed. And so for the first 6 months or so of my role, until Mr. Malloy got here, I was in the coach's office, I was in compliance office, and I was like, hey, so-and-so is not in class, can you help me with this? And then when Mr. Malloy got here, I said, hey, welcome. We're going to make a great team.
That's right. And so, you know, the main goal is for us is to win, you win-win with our students, athletes, and, you know, collabing with resource and partners across campus, because at the end of the day, it's about our student success and retention. We want all our students to, you know, come back to the school here, but we want to also make sure they're winning in the classrooms.
So we all know the transfer portal has been very hot. It's a hot topic at every level. I think there's like 7,000 students in the transfer portal right now, which is crazy. But there are a lot of eligibility standards and academic benchmarks that need to be hit if a student does transfer in. So one thing that it can be a little bit challenging is that role conflict between athletics and academics sometimes, because academics is like, we just want them in the classroom, but athletics, that's part of their primary role of being here, right? So we want to make sure that they're going to have the best experience while they're here, and that there's not any tension between academics and athletics.
Yes, and we all know collaboration is basically, you know, what students need in order to be successful here. Everyone working together on the same team and on the same page. Most definitely when we're talking about with advisors, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
So during an advising session or advising season, which we're in right now, you know, student athletes get priority registration, and sometimes their priority pins might be messed up or something. And I'll call Mr. Malloy and be like, hey, this football player has a 9 and he should have a 7-digit pin. What's going on? And he'll get right on the phone and make sure that those get updated so that our students do get their priority access. So we have different goals for our student athletes here at Fayetteville State, and one of them is to make sure that they have autonomy over their schedule and their career goals. And what's unique about our university is a lot of our student athletes, it is an HBCU, so historically Black college and university here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So our student athletes aren't just juggling athletics and academics. Often they're working their way through school as well. So they're managing, providing for their family, and going to class and going to practice. And so it's a whole nother layer. So there's different needs that need to happen to make sure that they're going to be successful academically.
Yes, and we also want to make sure that they graduate on time. You know, we typically look for 4 years, but if earlier, we would definitely recommend it if they want to go ahead and get in and get out. We don't want no student just, you know, sitting around missing certain classes. They're being held back because maybe they did not choose the right classes on their 4-year degree plan. Also, we try to make sure we get them ready for just their future by providing them with leadership and make sure they're getting all the skills that they need in order to, you know, graduate on time through admissions, or, you know, we have graduate programs here as well. So we want to keep them on track while they're students here.
And what's really great about the Bronco Boost program, a lot of our football student athletes do take part in that. And if they do take part in that Bronco Boost before their freshman year, they can graduate in 3.5 years, which is fantastic. And so it makes my job a lot easier when I'm setting up their program of study. And then he's got his checks and balances with the PTD sheets. And so we're making sure we keep them on the same team and on that path to that 4-year or less graduation date. So as we said, we like to work together, and we're trying to create holistic programming here at a Division II school and try to have more like a Division I model. So we're working together with academic advising, career development, leadership and life skills, and then experiential learning for both our students and our student athletes as well.
Yes, and we just like to make sure that we keep our students connected through, using Teams, using emails, staying connected with one-on-one meetings, just making sure that they're in the same guidelines as we are. We typically we don't want our students lost. So, when I first got here, I realized that students never open their emails, and I'm like, why are you not using your emails? And it's like, I don't see, why should I be using it? I'm like, because in order for us, we have what we call Navigate, EAB, so we can send out messaging campaigns and we can also send emails to them. But in order for them to receive it, they have to open their emails up. Our priority registration pins, it comes through emails as well. So we want to make sure that they're staying in line, make sure they're going to the meetings and opening emails, and also just text messages work as well. So, and you can text through Navigate EAB.
And something that we found has been beneficial for some students too is they will message directly through Teams, which is great too, because then it's almost like they're texting you. But they have direct access through Teams and can search any faculty member or staff member. And some of them prefer that communication rather than their email. Some will pick up the phone and call you through Teams too. But that can get a little tricky because they might have a different number pop up or it looks like external. And sometimes we, even as professionals, might not answer the phone that looks like it's coming from a different number, an outside number. If they call from their Teams account, we know it's them though. So part of the academic advising component that we take care of, as far as a faculty side, we get those alternate PIN numbers and we can issue those to the student athletes. They do have priority registration. So often if I see that some of our student athletes have holds, then I will communicate with Mr. Malloy and he will get with the coaches and make sure those holds get removed or updating those priority PINs if we need those as well.
And, with me helping out with academic support, it's my job to make sure they're going to all their student athlete meetings. Also, I give coach updates. So I want the coaches to be aware of what's going on in the building with a certain student, or, like right now, we're trying to figure out who's going to be in Bronco booths. Have they taken, how many courses have they taken, to make sure they get on the same page. We also do class checks. We can see how many people have been going to class, who has not been going to class. I look at that document, I run it weekly, and if I see a student that's not doing the right thing, I call them in for a meeting immediately. And sometimes it can be something like, hey, we was going on a trip. My professor said they didn't get the travel letter, and I can fix that right away because what I do is shoot the travel letter right back to the professor. So that's the importance of it. Also, we have a nice study hall. It's supervised by me. My office is next door to the study hall. We call it AAA, Bronco AAA, like a AAA insurance. And I look at it like that because everybody needs help. If somebody breaks down the side of the road, somebody should be there to help them out. So with our students, if you have above a 3.0, you're exited out of the program. From a 2.0 to a 2.9, you do 6 hours a week. And any freshman will automatically come in doing 6 hours a week. And our GPA has grown a lot. I think our department average is a 3.3. To be honest, everybody is right almost above a 3.0. Football was like a 2.97. So it's my goal to have football above a 3.0. And also connect them to the right resources as well. That could be counseling, career services, or just, getting them some development across the campus.
Part of the career development that we do through the faculty side, in one of our classes, we have a leadership seminar class in which we do resume and cover letter writing and mock interviews, and then we do speed networking. But with the speed networking, we utilize athletics to come in and help with the interview process. Since it is sport management, we want them to have some real life experience and to be interviewed by people in the industry.
And something that we're working on still right now is getting our players to dress professionally throughout the building. We have a lot of players that may want to come to class and slides and sweatpants, but we kind of want to start catching them up to the real world, give them real world experiences, developing an elevator pitch for them so they'll know how to speak to people, and also having firm handshakes with people as well. So these are things that can help them get a job, after college. Just making sure they're professional at all times. Most definitely when, not just professors look at our students already as their athletes, but we want them to see that they're trying and that they're here to learn just as well as play the sport that they're in.
And when we're able to work together, then they can take these skills into other classes across campus, whether it's a general education class or if they're a part of a different major, then they're learning to set themselves apart across campus too. And that really makes an impression for if they're in one of the STEM classes or, math or science or a different major in the business school, then the athletes are viewed a little bit differently. Leadership development is another thing that we like to work on within the classroom as well, and with our student athletes particularly. We do leadership style quizzes and personality tests, and then we do some little different exercises with the student athletes to figure out how to work with people that lead differently than you or have different personalities than you, because we all know our teams are made up of different people. They come from different backgrounds, and so it's important to start to learn how to work with other people, because in the industry not everybody works in the same style, or not everybody leads in the same way. So it's important to start figuring out what works for you. And when you're working with groups, like in a group setting, being able to assign people to their strengths, and then you get a better working environment as well.
Yes, and then for student athletes, we also want them to know their role, and how that plays onto the team or in the classroom, develop their growth mindset. Coming in, as I can speak about Bronco Boost, they come in the summertime. These are first-time freshmen. Some of them will be graduating the day before the program starts. It's a 7-week program. So, of course, they're coming in here and they're still basically high school students. And we want them to grow while they're here, because we're transitioning you from, being, kind of on your own at home, but now you're in college on your own and you have that support from us. So we think it's very important for them to learn that growth mindset as soon as they get here, and lead them when they're not in charge, because we have players here that may be on the bench, but we still want you to know how to lead. Just because you're on the bench does not mean that you don't bring something to the team or something to the table. So we want you to know whatever your role is, wear it how you're supposed to, and be a leader all around the campus.
As far as experiential learning goes as well, so again, we work a lot within sport management within the athletic department. So being able to get some of our students that experiential learning experience of working game day operations, they're setting up, executing, and breaking down the event. They're working cameras for Bronco Sport Network. They're helping with ticket taking. They're helping with security. They're learning about all of the different functional areas, and then they're helping their classmates. They're helping the student athletes. Everybody's kind of working together and learning from one another. And then we talk about these benefits in the classroom. What went well? So for example, we hosted an education day game for the first time in a very long time here in January. And our sport management classes, our athletes got to be a part of it. And so we talked about what went really well at this event. What could we improve on for next year? And one of the major takeaways was it was a really, really good event. Our athletes were signing autographs for like an hour after the game was over. They're signing all these shirts of these elementary kids, and it was like they were celebrities. It was great. But one of the things that we noticed could be done differently is the bus schedule of maybe getting the schools that are coming in from further away, get them here earlier, get them out first so that they get back in enough time to be able to do their normal routes from the field trip and everything, because the education day game happens at like 11 a.m. So by the time it's over, they can still get back to school in a timely manner. So maybe working out that bus schedule a little bit better. And then our students are learning how to be a team player too, and just getting familiar with the industry. And we really love our partnership within athletics.
And another thing I love about this school, we get our staff, athletic staff involved, even in the classrooms. You may walk by and see the athletic director speaking to a classroom, teaching, or, just lecturing to them. Also, we want to make sure they're being professional, teaching them, giving them professional advice on, life after college or while you're still here, the decisions that you should be making. Also connecting them with their LinkedIn accounts. Our sports management, which is Dr. Hancock, they do an outstanding job on LinkedIn. They're always reposting jobs that comes available, internships that's opening up, things like that and when you think about it as a freshman, you got to take a UNIV, which is a freshman seminar course. And in the second part, we start making our LinkedIn accounts. With those LinkedIn accounts, they build off connections, connect with certain people, whatever it is that you want to do, try to research. And, just having that resource available to them from an early age. You do 4 years of that. By the time you graduate, you should have some connections built up by then. So that's what I do like about Fayetteville State and what we offer here.
Yeah, so as a result of us kind of working together over the last year, we have seen increased academic success of our student athletes. They're more focused in the classroom, they're more engaged. When they come dressed professionally and they're not coming in sweats or looking like they just rolled out of bed, they're like more alert and want to pay attention. They're interested in post-grad opportunities and experiences. They're talking to me about internships, they're talking to me about entry-level jobs. We have several of our student athletes going on to to graduate school. So one of our football players is graduating in May, and he's transferring to Division I, and he's going to play his last year of eligibility at a Division I school in Ohio next year. And before I got here, people didn't talk about grad school. So to get them excited about these new opportunities has been a very rewarding experience for both of us.
Yes, and we want to make sure they have overall experience in the classroom, stronger network connections. Also, here we love and we breed Broncos, so you want to be proud to be a Bronco. You can just feel it when you get on the campus. If a Bronco, you will see a Bronco walking around the campus and just being available and seeing that and your potential donations as alumni. We have great support from our alumni here. And we just, like I said, just proud to see these results happening over the last year that I've been here.
Absolutely. And within the athletic department as well, we've seen our, more engaged student athletes overall, and the visibility around campus and within the community. They want to get out there and they want to be doing other things. So one of those experiential learning opportunities that we take advantage of is taking a field trip right down the road to the Fayetteville Woodpeckers and to Crown Coliseum. And our student athletes are there in the classroom. And it was very easy for me to talk to the coaches and say, hey, these guys need to get out of practice early because they're going on a field trip to the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. I want them to be there. I want them to be on time. I want them to be representing Fayetteville State well. They were like, not a problem. And it's because of the relationship that we've built. And hopefully we can see, increased donations in the future because they see this academic success. They see more engaged students. And maybe these student athletes want to give back as they continue to grow and move forward in their careers as well.
And we want to make sure that we connect our alumni to our athletes. That's just something major here. We have a lot of athletes that come back. We have some that's went pro, and they do come back and spend time with our student athletes to make sure that they know, hey, we did it, you can do it too. Also, we just want to make sure we build those strong relationships across campus. Whenever you see an athlete on this campus, you should automatically know they're an athlete just because of the way they're dressed. I know sometimes I touch like we're trying to get them out of the sweats and stuff, but normally you can see a book bag or the Bronco blue is all over campus. And our athletes do stand out, being on our campus. So just build those connections across campus, no matter where you are, from the cab all the way to the classroom or a custodian. We want everybody to be a part and know that our athletes are unique here at Fayetteville State University.
And talking about our alumni, so Josh Williams plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's a two-time Super Bowl champion, and he went to Fayetteville State, so we are very proud that he was a Bronco.
That's right.
So what does this mean for us in our future? We just want to continue to make it a great partnership moving forward and to continue to enhance the opportunities for our student athletes moving forward. And we're hoping to create some sort of template so that we can share with other athletic departments or with other departments across campus, so that they can continue to build stronger partnerships across campus, and for other schools that might be at the Division II level, NAIA, or smaller schools, it's important to utilize your resources. And so we want to continue to expand those partnerships and build that winning culture here.
Yep, and then just develop leadership across campus and develop student workshops, student athlete workshops. We are actually in the middle of doing a resilience program with the counseling service right now for our student athletes. I think that is very important, that they have something that they can rely on, and we have somebody from across campus bringing them great workshops that's weekly for, we was doing it for 6 weeks, and we're already on like the third week. This will be the third week coming up. So I'm just thankful for that on our campus.
That's our presentation for today. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you for attending.
Feel free, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, you could ask them.
We know it's Friday afternoon and y'all want to go home soon. Well, thank you.
I'll put you on the spot here, Dr. Hancock. Oh, you got a question here. Let's see. How do you build accountability in your athletes academically?
So, a prime example, we have a swiping system here. You have students have to get 6 hours a week in study hall, right? So what I do, the study hall, sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not there, but they swipe in, and what happens, it times their weekly hours. And at the end of the week, I pull those weekly hours, and let's say a student is got 4 out of 6 hours, the coach automatically knows. So I'm counting on them. I don't like saying, hey, you got study hall from 4 to 6 o'clock at night. Study hall is from 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. I feel like students are able to learn more during the day than at nighttime. They're tired from practice. So there's really no excuses when it comes to, if you got your hours or not. So we got to make sure they're staying accountable, because I tell them that, hey, it's going to be on you if you get below a 2.0 and you're not eligible to play here no more. It's going to be on you if you miss too many classes and then you get dropped from a class. So in order to hold them accountable, we have to make sure that we have our stuff in line, so that way they'll know that, hey, they're about structure. And it's all about just being organized, and make sure you're following through with your plans.
And typically, if a student athlete's missing one of our classes, like most of our faculty come to me and be like, hey, Dr. Hancock, what's going on with so-and-so? And I will go directly to Mr. Malloy and be like, somebody hasn't been in class in a while, something going on, and then they're in class the next class period. So that helps, having that good partnership. Thank you for that question.
Okay, we have another one. This is from Laura. I was interested in your discussion of having student athletes dress in non-athletic clothes. How did you approach those conversations, and what format did you use? Did you do it as a group or individual?
So of course you don't want to tell a student that, because you can get, titles, stuff, things. So you don't want to say, hey, you can't wear that, or you just address to them in a positive way. Like me, example, you can't really see me probably, but I dress up almost every day, professionally dressed, and they come to me and say, hey, well, Mr. Malloy, where do you get this from, or where do you shop at? And I tell them that, hey, I want you guys, if you want to be successful, dress for success. And that's the language that we use across the campus. Dress for success. When the provost see you, you shouldn't look like you just woke up out of the bed. I understand that, athletes want to be comfortable when they're going to classes, but you want to also make sure that, I always tell my students, you're always being interviewed. No matter where you go, if you're going out with your friends to eat, so you may have on a Fayetteville State shirt, you never know, but you're always being interviewed. And that's just something somebody wise gave me when I was in college, because I didn't get it when I heard it. Like, what do you mean I'm always being interviewed? Because I'm not sitting in front of nobody, but you never know who you're going to run into one day. And just because I am working here, You never know. One day I may be a president of a college one day, or you never know, you may be my president one day. So you just never know how it goes. Just always show that professionalism, even with your staff. I wouldn't ask the students to do something that I wouldn't do.
And that's something else. When they have to do group presentations in class, I give them a format of what's appropriate for professional dress as well. And if anybody comes in jeans or has a hoodie on that day or anything, they get docked points. And I address the whole class and I say, okay, these were things that we did really well today during our presentations. These are some things we need to work on. And I was like, next presentation, if anybody comes in that, you get an automatic 0. So like we addressed it pretty early on, and we're continuing to build that culture. And so just changing their mindset of let's put on, what is our brand image? What image are we trying to portray? And so we kind of approach it at that as well with like sports marketing, and with the athletes. Like if you want to be professional, like he said, dress professional, dress for success.
Okay, we have another question from Jerice. What future trends do you foresee in the collaboration between athletic staff and faculty, especially in light of recent changes in college sports?
Well, I think it depends on what level you're at. At the Division I level, and with everything going on with the house settlements and NIL and the transfer portal, as I tell my students, this is an interesting time in college athletics, and it's all kind of unknown to all of us. So I think that I know here we will continually to stay in constant communication. And I think that it's going to be crucial for faculty to get involved at all levels. Because if they're not, like, how are we going to make these kids that are getting paid $300,000 go to class? So it's just like the faculty is going to have to be communicating with the athletic staff, especially academic support, just to ensure some accountability. So I think that it's essential. And if that's not happening, then we're going to continue to see graduation rates decline, and that could impact money or funding at that school. And so I think maybe the athletic directors or athletic administration is going to have to step in as well.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Dr. Hancock or Mr. Malloy?
We see one that says, what is the best way to get coaches to buy into your academic programs and standards?
And to that one, it's easy for me. I would say, mean what you say, stay firm. We know some coaches try their hardest to get around the system and show them that your plans work. I think that was my biggest thing when I got here. The athletic director, he sat me down and, he told me, hey, man, I had, a couple different applications to choose from. Why would you be the candidate that I need? And when I told him that I took a school from a 2.1 to a 2.9 in the semester, they was blown away. So I tell coaches that, hey, listen, I have respect for you as a coach, but then again, coach, I just want you to know that if these students are not getting the academic resources that they need, they won't be able to play your sport. So what we need to do is come to an agreement. I meet with my coaches weekly. I know a lot of head coaches are busy. I normally send the head coach an email. Sometimes he may send an assistant in my office, and that way the communication can stay put with everybody. I also meet with my athletic director every Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. And that way, whatever's happening, I can run things by. So let's just say we have a coach that don't really agree with what I'm saying, or they kind of confused about some things. The athletic director, he likes to know what's going on so he can address it. Now, thankfully here we got great coaches and that never happens, but you just got to be on the same page with everybody from, your AD down to your assistant coaches, and be serious about what you do. Love what you do as well. They love the coach. I love to talk about academics. So you got to make it fair for everybody.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Kudos to our audience here for the questions. It's a Friday afternoon. I know it's probably been a long week for us, but Want to thank Dr. Hancock and Mr. Malloy once again for sharing their wisdom and some nuggets. So I really liked your analogy about that AAA road service there, how you feel the same should be for the academic side, and the dress for success. That one definitely hit home again. Such few words, but yet it's very impactful. And the fact, that you're always being interviewed. I know we try to tell that to our student athletes all the time. And thank you everybody for attending our summit. Hope you've been able to attend more than one session. And even if it was only one session, we appreciate that. We thank you for that. Just be sure to fill in the survey at the end. And we look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you.